Nah, you said the biggest disappointment in part one?
Yeah, yeah. Biggest disappointment in part
Um,
one of Boruto.
oh, in Boruto, okay. Like the anime. Okay.
Yeah.
Anime, manga, what both continuities together, whatever.
I think for me the biggest disappointment is Naruto and his portrayal.
Hmm.
I was like, this was Naruto at his apex. He was supposed to be like that guy we've been building up to this point, and I never really felt like I got a chance to see him flex. You can say maybe the Momoshiki fight, but I
Yeah, I
wanted to
was gonna
see
say that. I would
him.
say that one, but that's it.
I wanted to see him flex. Like that was it.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
he's always teaming up with Sasuke, and like me personally, I felt like he should have, went into Toad. I said this many times. Toad Sage Mode versus Delta. That's it.
yeah.
Pack her up in Toad Sage Mode. That would have been really
That would
cool.
be fire.
And then reserve Six Path Sage Mode for something really special. I don't even think he needed Baryon Mode, but if you wanted to throw that in there at some point, that's fine.
All right.
And then I also think I always say like we always compare like Boruto and Naruto to Dragon Ball sometimes because same genre for the most part.
Yeah.
I think it would be really cool if I felt like his forms were something special, and
Mm-hmm.
you can do this through visual cues to where in Shippuden Naruto has like the flaming aura. He has the flaming aura. He has it just feels like a more like ethereal, more divine form. And Boruto looks like a damn jumpsuit. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
stuff
not gonna
like
Wait,
lie,
what?
that.
dude. I'm with you, dude. The Shippuden form was so much better.
Wait,
It would
what?
be like, yeah, like it looks awful. And then you have like moments where in Dragon Ball, like they're powering up, and not for like 1,000 episodes, but like the earth starts shaking, and like there's a
Yeah.
build up to a thing. And I feel like Naruto, you see him go up against Momoshiki. This is like probably the best fight he's had in the series outside of Baryon mode, and he just enters the form like that. Let's teach him a lesson. I would have liked to see him like put his hands together, like maybe the little dimension starts to shake a bit, and he's like, oh, like Momoshiki, like, oh, these dudes are like serious, and then something like that, like make me feel like, oh shit, like this is an event or something like that.
Yeah, kind of
So
like
those
when
are the two
Momoshiki
things for
threw
me.
his giant like
I
truth
was just
speaker
thinking
or
about
his
that.
giant tail piece
Mm-hmm.
on. They did that way where Karama, like they slapped the hands together, like
Yep.
let's do it, Karama. Then he starts screaming.
Powering
Like
up.
that
Yep.
was better.
Yeah, that would have been
Yeah.
fire if
So
that was a visual we got for sure.
yeah. So in terms
Yeah.
of portrayal, I think Naruto was portrayed pretty poorly. In terms of his power, in terms of his characterization, his development. I just didn't like it. And then now he's gotten put on the shelf. They nerfed him for no reason because they're just going to
Mm-hmm.
scale the Boruto characters up. It's just very frustrating. I think
Yeah.
Naruto's my answer.
Yeah. My answer would be so oh my bad bar. You wanna go ahead?
I was just about to comment on what Mel was saying. I see where you're coming from. I would say I'm disappointed in certain parts of how Naruto was portrayed, but I think overall I didn't necessarily have too much of a problem with it. I think one of my
Mm-hmm.
biggest problems was the lack of showing us first things first, base Naruto's power, and
Yeah.
second, Sage Mode Naruto's power, because
Yeah.
those are key things going into part two of Boruto that we just haven't necessarily
And
seen yet.
Sage Mode
Now,
was
obviously,
so cool in Naruto, so like yeah, definitely.
I know,
Yeah,
I'm,
true.
I'm getting a growing list of answers to this question. Not gonna lie, as much as I love Boruto.
Yeah, yeah. So we love Boruto, but I think this right here is a definitely decent discussion. But like, I personally believe that we should have seen some more battles with Naruto, not necessarily in those battles, or not necessarily in those upper echelon forms, possibly some of these forms. So we can now see exactly how strong Naruto is. Unless you guys think that Naruto is like forever sealed, we're probably gonna eventually get to see Naruto, hopefully, battle again in the future. So
Yeah.
that would have definitely been a decent thing to see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
man.
thing is, though, it's like he didn't need six pack stage mode every fight. He used it
No.
on a freaking band in the anime. It's just like, dude,
Yeah.
you don't need to go into the sport like
Bro, he
every fight.
used it to
And then
hug
like,
Kawaki.
Yeah, true. Use it versus the
like
Shinuchiya clones.
He
Like,
came out like he was like a superhero or something. Like just like yeah, you don't need it every time. I don't totally agree.
I know. And then like the other thing is, it's like, yeah, like Mello said, like they nerfed him just to make characters stronger than the past villain. Like
Yeah.
there was no point. And it's just like, even because as it is, like you can argue if you want, people can argue for Kawaki and Borushiki being over where Naruto and Sasuke were.
Mhm.
Like the fact that you can, whether you agree or not, the fact that it can be argued just shows that they didn't need to be nerfed because
Yeah.
it's like
they're already a threat.
Yeah,
Like
true.
Moroshiki's a threat. Kawaki is a threat now. Like,
Hmm.
and Code was a threat. He thought he could beat him prime anyway, 1v1 at least. So it's like you didn't need, you didn't need to do this. So like, but the
Yeah.
reason why they did it though was so that they could buff Kawaki. Like that's what it was. But I'm like, I didn't like that. I'm like, pick one or the other. Either nerf them and keep everyone lower level, or just buff the main characters. I'm like, the combination didn't sit well with me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, my biggest letdown with the series was I didn't like the fight sequences as much as I
I
liked them
agree,
in
especially in the
Naruto.
manga.
Yeah, the fight sequences kind of lacked, except for like the big fights, like the Momoshiki versus, the Momoshiki and Naruto and Sasuke fight, and the Jigen and Sasuke and Naruto fight. Those was choreographed pretty well, in my opinion.
But the thing is, that's all the animated. That's not like, in the manga, dude. The Momoshiki fights. That's like
Yeah,
that's the
true.
problem. Is
Yeah,
it's
true.
like if Kishimoto was making the fights, that's why I wish Kishimoto was the artist of anything. Like, if rather than writing, I would have rather instead of like Kishimoto write and Ikimoto draw, I would have rather that it was Kodachi write, Kishimoto draw, like or something like that. Because
Yeah.
I'm like the way he draws the fights is so much better,
Hmm.
and then in turn it makes it easier for the anime to come up with creative things because
True.
it's already good to begin with.
Yeah, true. That is true. Other I have a full list of letdowns. Like,
Oh, dude, I know. Shikamaru, don't even get me started on Shikamaru, dude. I hate Boruto era Shikamaru. This is the biggest one of my biggest letdowns.
but
The
of course,
dude's not even, dude. He's just an asshole. He's not even smart anymore. Come on.
man, no more strategy. I mean, kind of. He's been
Oh, dude,
kind of
dude,
strategic
the one
at
time
the
they need
end.
him for a strategy, he says he doesn't have one. Like,
True.
the whole thing. This is what bothers me about it. Is it's like they're banking on us knowing how smart he is just to show off how much smarter Amato is, and that's fine and dandy. But like, let Shikamaru do some things. It's Sasuke too though. But it's like Sasuke's just taking that role when they were interrogating Amato. The only one being smart was Sasuke, not Shikamaru. Sasuke's the strategist. It's not Shikamaru. It's
Mhm.
just Shikamaru's only the strategist in name, no action. And he's just a dick to Kawaki for a complete unnecessary dick to Kawaki. Like he could have been, even if you don't trust the guy, he could have been a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like they're trying too hard to make him this like Donzo-like character. I'm like, bruh,
Mm.
all he has to be is just like a smart, analytical assistant. Like he was when Kakashi was Hokage.
Bro, he
was
sounds.
just
He
smart.
just seems like a dude that does like he picks up a lot of Naruto slack as far as work goes. He just seems like a grumpy man that's just like overworked, pretty much.
I know, dude. Like he needs to go to sleep. That's
Yeah, he
just
needs a vacation. With
The
Kakashi.
way I
And I
kinda-
think I kind of like Shikamaru in both iterations. Me personally, I think he was done excellent in part 1 and 2, and then in Boruto, I
I
think
loved him then. Yeah.
he's fantastic in Boruto to me because for like the last year plus, he's just been center stage. He's been the Hokage. He's been the guy moving
Facts.
everything
That is
around.
true.
I mean, there was
But
there
given
was
that
a
he
point
takes
where
action, like,
there was
he's
a
good at
point where
taking
like his
action.
relevance was being called into question to where it was like, okay, well, if he dies, does it even matter? Because he hasn't really done anything. But now that he's actually like in the field doing stuff for over a year, he's mingling with all the main villains. He's in the mix. Like being in the mix matters. So like to me,
Yeah,
I
he's
think
way more
Shikamaru is a
important than Sakura.
fantastic character.
Yeah.
And even going back to like the Amato interrogation, it's understandable because Amato, if you look at like what Amato does and like his interactions, he interacts with Shikamaru more than any of the older generation of characters, and there's a reason for that because Shikamaru is the intellectual obstacle he has to get around in order for him to do his shenanigans.
Yeah.
So then what does he do? He takes his kid and destabilizes him mentally. So now he's more emotional. He's thinking with his heart and his feelings rather than his mind.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why it could appear that Sasuke is a little bit more sharper in that
Yeah,
instance.
and I give him that for the first one, but the second interrogation, dude, I give Shikamaru no slack for asking stupid questions and not the right ones. Sorry. I give him no.
Yes. So like in that instance, like it can appear that Sasuke is more analytical than Shikamaru, but it's just more like an emotional thing for him. And then you can see multiple times where like you think he's doing dumb stuff, like, oh, you got captured or whatever. There's a claw mark on your neck. You're responsible for them infiltrating the village. And it's like, no, he knew about it the whole time. He
Yeah,
used
I
it
was talking
to
about
set
that.
things up. So
Mhm.
I
stuff
like
like that's
that.
really impactful.